Aloha and good day. My name is Jürgen Steinmetz from eTurboNews, and this is a breaking news update. For more news updates and shows, please go to youtube.com/travel news group. youtube.com/travel news group. Here's our update.
Tourists are heading to Hawaii but spending less. Despite a drop in spending, Department of Business, Economic Development and Tourism (DBEDT) Director Mike McCartney said global travel is opening up and we are seeing pent-up demand. We expect a strong summer and look forward to welcoming international visitors from Australia, New Zealand and Japan in the second half of the year. Prior to the global COVID-19 pandemic and Hawaii's quarantine requirements for travelers, the state of Hawaii achieved record-level visitor expenditures and arrivals in 2019 through February 2020. January 2022 visitor spending was lower compared to $1.73 billion, minus 19.0%, spent in January 2020 and $1.62 billion, minus 13.5%, reported for January 2019. According to preliminary visitor statistics released by DBEDT, total spending by visitors who came to the islands in January 2022 was $1.40 billion, compared to $397.9 million, plus 251.4%, spent in January 2021. A total of 574,183 visitors came in January 2022 and of that number 567,179 visitors arrived by air service, mainly from the U.S. West and U.S. East. Additionally, cruise operations resumed in January 2022 with the arrival of 7 cruise ships that brought another 7,004 visitors to the state. In comparison, 171,976 visitors, plus 233.9%, arrived by air only in January 2021 since there were no cruise ship activities in 2021, versus 857,066 visitors, minus 33.0%, who came by air and by cruise ships in January 2020, and 817,600 visitors, minus 29.8%, who arrived by air and by cruise ships in January 2019. In January 2022, domestic passengers could bypass the state's mandatory 5-day self-quarantine if they were fully vaccinated in the United States or with a valid negative COVID-19 NAAT test result from a trusted testing partner prior to their departure through the Safe Travels program. Passengers arriving on direct international flights were subjected to federal U.S. entry requirements which included proof of a negative COVID-19 test result taken within 24 hours of travel or documentation of having recovered from COVID-19 in the past 90 days, prior to their flight. Cruise ships coming to Hawaii beginning in January 2022 are required to sign a Memorandum of Agreement with the State Department of Transportation, Harbors Division. Cruise lines are required to follow strict health and safety protocols under the Hawaii's Safe Travels program including vaccination, COVID-19 testing, and have a dedicated medical staff on board, cabins for isolation, and a contingency plan with local hospitals to handle any COVID issues. The average daily census was 202,071 visitors in January 2022, compared to 80,770 visitors in January 2021, versus 268,423 visitors in January 2020, and 262,235 visitors in January 2019. The President and CEO of the Hawaii Tourism Authority (HTA), John DeFries had this to say: Hawaii began the year with positive gains in total visitor spending and per person, per day visitor spending for January, which are two of the Hawaii Tourism Authority's overall key performance indicators as outlined in our 2020 to 2025 strategic plan. Both measures contribute to the meaningful economic growth needed for our state's recovery. The visitor industry continues to be a driver of job growth, career opportunities and economic diversification. We continue our mission to Malama Ku'u Home, caring for my beloved home, working diligently to achieve the balance desired by our communities for the well-being of Hawaii and generations to come. In January 2022, 326,496 visitors arrived by air from the U.S. West, compared to 112,020 visitors, plus 191.5%, in January 2021, versus 354,115 visitors, minus 7.8%, in January 2020, and 317,655 visitors, plus 2.8%, in January 2019. U.S. West visitors spent $705.6 million in January 2022, compared to only $225.7 million, plus 212.6%, in January 2021, versus $630.8 million, plus 11.8%, in January 2020, and $556.7 million, plus 26.7%, in January 2019. Higher average daily visitor spending also contributed to increased U.S. West visitor expenditures compared to January 2020 and January 2019. There were 183,964 visitors from the U.S. East in January 2022, compared to 50,788 visitors, plus 262.2%, in January 2021, versus 199,815 visitors, minus 7.9%, in January 2020, and 185,253 visitors, minus 0.7%, in January 2019. U.S. East visitors spent $529.4 million in January 2022 compared to $137.9 million, plus 283.8%, in January 2021, versus $507.9 million, plus 4.2%, in January 2020, and $462.9 million, plus 14.4%, in January 2019. Higher average daily visitor spending and a longer length of stay contributed to the growth in U.S. East visitor expenditures compared to January 2020 and January 2019. There were 2,850 visitors from Japan in January 2022, compared to 1,165 visitors, plus 144.7%, in January 2021, versus 117,995 visitors, minus 97.6%, in January 2020, and 120,418 visitors, minus 97.6%, in January 2019. Visitors from Japan spent $11.6 million in January 2022, compared to $4.8 million, plus 141.7%, in January 2021 versus $171.2 million, minus 93.2%, in January 2020, and $173.4 million, minus 93.3%, in January 2019. In January 2022, 23,551 visitors arrived from Canada, compared to 2,898 visitors, plus 712.7%, in January 2021, versus 66,442 visitors, minus 64.6%, in January 2020, and 69,687 visitors, minus 66.2%, in January 2019. Visitors from Canada spent $69.5 million in January 2022 compared to $14.9 million, plus 364.9%, in January 2021, versus $161.7 million, minus 57.0%, in January 2020, and $165.4 million, minus 58.0%, in January 2019. There were 30,318 visitors from all other international markets in January 2022. These visitors were from Oceania, Europe, other Asia, Latin America, Guam, Philippines, and Pacific Islands. In comparison, there were 5,105 visitors, plus 493.9%, from all other international markets in January 2021, versus 107,769 visitors, minus 71.9%, in January 2020, and 112,554 visitors, minus 73.1%, in January 2019. In January 2022, a total of 4,943 trans-Pacific flights with 1,036,109 seats serving the Hawaiian Islands, compared to 2,856 flights with 593,981 seats in January 2021, versus 5,419 flights with 1,202,300 seats in January 2020, and 5,158 flights with 1,134,182 seats in January 2019. McCartney added, "We are pleased to see another milestone in the visitor industry recovery with over 7,000 cruise visitors in January 2022 after 21 months of suspension." Cruise activity is an important part of the overall tourism in the state, with cruise visitors accounting for 2.6% of Hawaii's total visitors in 2019. With the existence of the Omicron variant, visitor arrivals in January 2022 was over 70% of the January 2019 level, indicating that the demand for Hawaii visitation remains strong, especially from the U.S. mainland. Visitation by the U.S. visitors has been surpassing the 2019 levels since May 2021. Hard decisions were made to protect our communities, so as we see positive movement, we must continue to remain vigilant and strategically monitor the stability of COVID-19 spread and the impact of the Russian invasion of Ukraine as it affects oil prices, airlift and consumer demand for travel. More news about Hawaii.
Thank you for listening to our news update. There's more on youtube.com/travel news group, or you can read us, of course, in going to our news portal at eTurboNews.com or travelnews.online.